picture, I'd like you to underline, you know, the heart of humankind problem. The moment when your mind, you know, swing, your mind is work like a pendulum. Your mind, which is consists of your mental self, the red one, and your thought, memories, and feelings. Okay, they are living together in the, you know, in the inner world. Okay, so it is the water that make your mental self, okay, the red one, swinging. So the swinging, the moment that it swings, it can swing back and forth like this. When it swings to this side, you call the worldly happiness. When it swings to this side, you call turmoil, suffering, all these things. So upon the enlightenment of the Buddha found out that the true happiness of life is not this type of happiness. The true happiness, the eternal happiness, is the stillness of the mind. He's saying is that ไม่มีสุขใดยิ่งกว่าความสงบสุขใดยิ่งกว่าความสงบไม่มี There is no happiness in the world that can be greater than the peace of mind, which is this nature. No happiness in the world that can be greater than the peace of mind. Okay, so I'd like you to be able to distinguish two types of happiness. This happiness is no, you know, it's not exciting. It's not as if, you know, you can have what you want or win the lottery or all this and that. This mind is come from you are able to let go of most things. Okay? Anyway, this point, I'd like you to distinguish two types of happiness. You can easily distinguish this from this, suffering, turmoil. Okay? But to distinguish from the worldly happiness is more important. Because a lot of people in the world still don't know. And then the civilization that we are engaging right now, you know, we are engaging in this type of happiness. So upon the enlightenment of the Buddha, he found out this state of mind, which is this state, right? But because people's mind is swing to that problem, according to that problem, and according to the law of physics, whatever goes up will come down, right? So the nature of human's mind, it swinging like this. Let me use another color. Boom, 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 like this. Okay? So this part called true happiness, the stillness. The stillness of the mind. So this is worldly happiness. Oh, sorry. Worldly happiness. So this is suffering. So what happens is when people don't know the stillness of the mind, we are taking this level of happiness to be the goal of life. Okay? To make this worldly happiness, make it as the standard, which started from the revolution, the Renaissance, what you call the Industrial Revolution, and then pursue the American dream. Okay, that you can have all the fiscal wealth, status, all these things. Okay, which based on indulgence and pacification, gratification. Okay, so when you don't know the real standard, the real standard of the real purpose of life, the real goal of life, people pursue this level of happiness, which defy the law of physics. Because you really cannot gratify yourself by using this standard of happiness. It can never happen. Because this level, it can go up and up, you know, there is no ceiling to it. Suppose if you're chasing after wealth, chasing after money, and those who have, okay, let's say you have 100,000, 100,000, you look at a 1 million, you know, as something that you want to pursue. But when you can really get to 1 million, you know, you thought that 10 million maybe is better. Once you get to 10 million, 100 million is better. It go on and on and on like
then
this.
you like Bill Gates?
Yeah. No end to, like Bill Gates. Yeah, like Bill Gates. There is no end to it. And then when you reach the point like Bill Gates, I mean, Bill Gates is still good in the sense that he can see that money got no value anymore. When you have 1 million, you know, if you have another million, you know, it means nothing to you, right?
Even a billion?
It means nothing to you. And then the next thing that people will pursue, if you reach that point, is pursuing power. Especially the political power. And the political power is can go on and on, you know, unlimited at all. And then consequently the world can, you know, can be in a lots of trouble, like Hitler. Okay? When people are being, you know, taken over by this Jerry thing with the wrong concept of life, you know, all hell can break loose. All hell can break loose. But we come back to this. I just want you to understand that all the civilization, the human civilization right now is nothing more than pursuing this level of happiness and trying to make this level of happiness stay still. Okay, all this invention, this and that, you know, is all about trying to replace the excitement that we have lost. All these little gadgets, you know, this and that, or toys, children's toy and adults toy are quite, you know, essentially it's the same thing. Because once you have a new toy with you, you know, when time passes, you lose that excitement. And then it comes down to all these inventors try to invent something that you can retain this level of excitement that you call happiness, to stay like this all the time. But the fact, the law of physics, okay, which cover the mental physics as well, whatever goes up will come down. Okay, whatever goes up will come down. So when you reach this level of excitement or happiness, when you just lose a little bit, you cannot live with it anymore. You know, you suffer. You call it, you know, boredom. You call it boredom. You can't live it, and then you got to try to find something to replace, to let it stay high like this all the time. And that's why people go into drugs. People explore all kind of things, just try to sustain this level of excitement and happiness, which there is no ending to it. No ending to it. And that's why I like to say that our human civilization is right now is nothing more than trying to sustain this, which is all about looking after your health and then looking for more money, more wealth and status, education. Why you have high education? Because you can, you know, satisfy yourself with this. You can pursue this level of happiness. You see, whereas this real level of happiness, there are not many people know it. Okay, but the trouble is that the higher you go up, when you lose it, like all those pop idol, you know, they can, one year when they become very famous, they can say, send what, let's say 10 million copy of, you know, of CD or whatever. But the following year, if they can sell only 5 million, from 10 million to 5 million, that they are not happy anymore. Okay, so their mind, all those excitement that go to the peak, it just sink as far as it can go. The higher you go up, when you sink down, when you fall as low as well. And this is the reason why all those famous people have to rely on drugs. Because when you come right up, the feeling, you know, come up here, what you fear most is the fear of losing what you have up here. Okay, and when you actually lose, you sink down so much. Okay, and then before you know anything, you trap in drugs or all this, you know, whatever. Your mind become like this, boom, 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 like this. And the thing, and the state of mind that you never experience is something like this. Is something like this. So basically, the Buddha tried to tell us that the nature of your mind is all swinging in the nature of pendulum like this. And on the night of his enlightenment, he found the true stillness or the true happiness, which he called the peace of mind. No excitement in there, but it long lasting. It is long lasting, which is this nature. You see, this nature. Okay, or this nature. So it doesn't matter which way that you swing, it will always come back to this. It's a very, very normal nature, but it's so simple that a lot of people overlook the significance of it. Overlook the significance of it. Okay, and try to pursue this type of happiness. So the teaching today, I'm trying to reveal this for you and help you to distinguish the difference between this type of happiness and this type. And the Buddha confirmed that this type is the one that you should pursue. And how exactly you can pursue this type of happiness? The answer is to practice a mental skill that the Buddha called the four foundation of mindfulness, or vipassana, or bringing your mental self back home. Okay? You understand that? Right. So this morning we are going to follow what we have left. This morning I tried to explain to you that we got the physical self and then we got the mental self, okay? And the water, which represent your thought, memories and feelings, that make your mental self, the red part, become troubled, which represent as Jerry. So Jerry is your thought, memories and feeling, which cause a state of black forest in your mind, in your head, in your heart, and make your mental self trapped in this black forest. Trapping in this black forest is like this picture. I normally tell the Thai people that don't be jealous of anyone at all, because people who never know this practice, their mental self is very much like this state, weak. Maybe you don't show it physically, but inside you are weak, because your mental self is being bombarded by these three things: your thought, your memories and your feelings, constantly beating you up all the time like this, cause the state of turmoil like this. Okay, so I represent these two things into Tom and Jerry. So your mental self become Tom, and Tom, before this mental skill, before this practice, is a weak Tom, being stabbed, being punched, being chopped over by these three Jerry. Okay, because some words, some image, some feelings is very much like someone, use a knife, cutting a mind up, cutting a heart up. It's very painful. So this is the state of mind of all the people in the world who never know this practice. Okay, some might be stronger than others, but it still does not give you a chance to live truly happy. Okay? Truly happy. So the four foundation of mindfulness, or bring your mental self back home, is nothing more than make your mental self become stronger, so that your mental self can get up and fight with this inner enemy by yourself. Because the pain is in your life form. No one can get the pain out from your head, from your heart for you, but yourself. So you need to have a way, a skill to dig that pain out for you, so that you can live in peace like that. And how you can do it is bringing your mental self back home. Let your mental eyes know your breathing, your thought, your sensation, your movement. Or I like to explain as the duty of you toward yourself is to give Tom the vital food, the vitamin that can strengthen Tom up. The reason why I made Tom into Tom and Jerry, because I like you to know that Tom and Jerry, they are enemies to each other. When Tom is weak, Jerry will be strong. ถ้าแมวอ่อนแอหนูร่าเริง Okay? If Tom is weak, Jerry will be, having a party in your house and then find a way to stabbing you, make you hurt all the time. But if you can make this Tom, this cat become stronger, mice are afraid of strong cats, because cat will eat mice. Okay? So your duty is to strengthen Tom up by feed them the vital food, the vitamin, which is bringing your mental self back home. So when you can practice this skill, Tom will become stronger. as if this mental self becomes stronger, and then Tom will fight Jerry off for yourself. That's all. That's all you need to do. Is it clear? Okay, so your duty toward yourself from now on is all about giving Tom the vital food, the vitamin that can make him strong. Okay, so we do a bit more practice before lunch then, okay? Before lunch. Right. What's your name? Dimitri. Dimitri. It's a very Dutch name. I never heard, this is the first time I heard Dimitri. Okay. Right. Dimitri, I'm going to repeat for you. Okay? I hope you don't mind. Okay? I hope you don't mind. And then the new arrival as well. Okay? We've got a physical self, and then we've got a mental self, and then we're going to close our eyes, and then we're going to practice bringing a mental self back home. Okay? By your eyes ball, I like you to just pretend that there is a mental eyes there. I'm going to ask you to use your mental eye to know your breathing, know your sensation, physical sensation, and know your movements, all these things. Okay? Know your movement. And right, everyone, sit comfortably, okay? Sit comfortably. We're going to, everyone please close your eyes, close your physical eyes. Now once your physical eyes are closed down, okay, I repeat again, you still have that very strong sense of self. This strong sense of self, every human being has it, is in fact the mental self or the lump of consciousness that I talk about, which is the nature of your true self. And it is this mental self that burdened the pain. It is this mental self that had to put up with all the battering in your head and in your heart. So I'm trying to separate it for you. Right, everyone smack your hands hard 5 times, please. Right, and then put your hands down. By your physical eyes, make a point that is the place, the location of your mental eyes. Eyes are for viewing. So use your mental eyes to view the pains in your hands. Make it clearly that your mental eyes are the observer and the pains in your hands are the observed. Okay? So when your mental eyes look at the pains in your hands, you have already brought your mental self back home. You have already brought your mental self back home. So just by doing this, you have engaged in a skill that can help you, your mental self, move from location A, when you have all the trouble, turmoil, stress, worry, anxiety, to location B, when you can feeling happier. Or if I'm explaining in the sense of Tom and Jerry, this is exactly how you can strengthen Tom up with the essential vitamin. This is how you can feed Tom with the good food so that Tom can be stronger. When Tom is strong, Tom will fight Jerry off for you. You don't have to try to think of a solution to solve your problems. You will have to do that in one stage, but do this first. Make your mental self become stronger first. By using your mental eyes to view the sensation, as in bring your mental self back to your second home. Right, everyone breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. And then use your mental eyes to view your breath, your breathing. Your mental eyes is the observer, your breath is the observed. One is the subject, one is the object. So use your mental eye to view your breath and know that your breathing is the nature of your first home. So as you're doing this, you have brought your mental self back home. You have engaged in the skill of making your mental self feeling happier. Or you have engaged in the activity of making Tom, the weak Tom, become stronger, strengthen Tom up. So we are going to delve into the practice a bit more. The breathing is the nature of your first home. Your bodily sensation, the nature of your second home. Your physical movement is also the nature of your first home. Right, I'm going to ask everyone to rub your hands, bring both hands up and rub your hands together in whichever way you want to do, it doesn't matter. But rub your hands. Do it slowly, please. Do it slowly. And then use your mental eyes by your eyeball. Look, view at the rubbing hands activity. The rubbing hand activity consists of the movement, the first home, and the sensations, the second home. Right? So you are dealing with the extended first and second home. So please use your mental eyes to view the rubbing hands activity. Make it clearly that your mental eyes are the observer and the rubbing hands activity is the observed. One is the subject, one is the object. Just by doing this, you are engaged in the skill that strengthen your mental self up or strengthen Tom up. Make the weak Tom become a stronger cat. Because when the cat is strong, the cat will catch the mice. The mice or Jerry represent your mental trouble, your mental disharmony, your mental pendulum that is spinning back and forth. So this is the way how to make this mental pendulum become still. Make it slow down and make it become still and reach the true kind of happiness. So you must walk the path. You must develop your mental skill. How? By using your mental eyes to know your breathing and know the rubbing hands activity, which is entering, bring your mental self back to the first and the second home. Okay, so I hope that the new arrival can understand how you can bring your mental self back home. This activity, in fact, is no alien to anyone. This is something that you are so familiar with. You have known your breathing, you have known this rubbing hand activity through your eyes closing like this so many times. But the difference is that no one have ever highlighted for you, have never underlined for you about the significance of your breathing of knowing your breathing, of knowing your rubbing hands activity, know your movements and your sensation like this. No one ever tell you that. Your breath, your movements, your sensations are the nature of your mental home, where your mental self can come back and take a good rest. So today, the reason I've been here, I come here so that I can reveal this fundamental truth or fact to you, so that you can know the importance of this very simple nature that everyone have all the same. Okay? Right, everyone place your hands on your legs, whichever way, doesn't matter, but separate both hands and place them on your knees. And use your mental eyes from your eyeball. Look at the sensations in your hands. The sensation of your hand touching your feet, your legs like this, is something so familiar to every single human being. But not many people know the significance behind it, know the importance behind this simple phenomenon in their life form. They don't know that the sensations is the home for your mental self, who can come back and take a good rest. Okay? So as I explaining, I'd like every one of you to use your mental eye. Just focus on your breathing and the sensations of your body. Sensations ความรู้สึกนะคะความรู้สึกของส่วนกาย bodily sensations, which apart from the hand touching your legs, you also have the sensation of your back touching the sofa if you sit on the sofa, your bottom touching the sofa or the floor, the parts of your leg that touching the floor, the feet touching the floor. All those areas of sensations are the nature of your second home. So how to make your mental self become stronger so that you can fight with your mental trouble is to use your mental eyes to focus on all these different parts of your bodily sensations. You can go through them, okay? Go through them from your back to your bottom, to your hands, your feet, and then go back and forth. In between, you can know your breathing. Whichever way, it doesn't matter. But please do it. Do it in the way that I have guided you. I'm guiding you how to bring your mental self who was lost in your mental jungle, so that you can come back home safely. Your mental jungle is made up of your thoughts, memories, and feelings, which weave into a mental black forest, which is the nature that you drift and you think repeatedly about your problem, what I'm going to do with my kids, with my wife, with my husband, womanizing, how about the job? I might lose my job in a few years' time. I might lose my home, my family, what I'm going to do. Oh, now I'm getting old now. I have sickness, what I'm going to do with all these things. All these problems, no matter what. Okay? Round them into Jerry. Round them into Jerry. And know that Jerry weave a gigantic black forest in your head and in your heart, and force your mental self to be trapped and utterly lost in there. unable to come out from your mental black forest. So the first thing that the lost people want to achieve is to come home. To come home. But if I don't teach you in this way, there is no way that your mental self can come home. If you don't know about this truth, your mental self will be constantly lost in your mental jungle, in your mental black forest. Your mental black forest, apart from making up into the painful and turmoil, okay, the painful feelings, it also makes up into the excitement, the feelings, the emotion when you can get what you want, when you can really pacify your mind with wealth, with fame, with status, with intellectual. Okay, you achieve your degree, your master degree, your PhD, your postdoc, your career, you get what you want. All these things is all still weaved into another type of black forest. But it's not a black forest as such. Okay, so if I compare the worldly happiness into a jungle of, let's say, daffodil, tulips, cherry blossom, sakura, okay? A jungle of, trees, sakura trees, but you still trapped in the jungle of sakura tree. The blossom maybe is beautiful. It's beautiful and make you want to trap in there even more. You don't want to leave this, this gigantic forest of beautiful sakura blossom, just cherry blossom, because it's so beautiful. So this is equivalent to your intellectual knowledge, to your worldly happiness, to all the excitement that you achieve something in the worldly, value, the worldly standards. So exciting, to have wealth, to have status, to have fame. So this is still very much like your mental self is trapped in another type of forest, and this forest is beautiful. And this trap is more dangerous. At least if you're trapped in the black forest, it's so dark and so scary, you still know that, oh gosh, I must find my way home. You still try to find the direction to bring yourself home somehow. But if you're trapped in the sakura, in the, flowers forest, in this type of beautiful forest, you want to stay there forever. You just want to go deeper and deeper, and you find more beautiful, find more beauty, find more excitement, find more thrill. Until we reach a point now, our human civilization, it reach a point that we really don't know what other excitement we can have, because the excitement through wealth, through money, through status, through power. Okay, money and status, a lot of people can have, but power, not everyone have. So when you are saturated already, have enough saturated with wealth, with status, you will search for power. Searching for political power is another way to go deeper in this beautiful forest of flowers, and looking for something that you think that is there, which will give you more excitement, which through the eyes of the Buddha is merely another piece of adult toys. Adult toys. Okay? Once you have that toys, you get fed up in no time at all. In no time at all. So have a look at yourself, You have a good family, you got enough money in the bank, you got the good status, you got the job, the career, people give you respect. But if you're very honest with yourself, you would see that there are days that you still cannot be fulfilled. You still are not content with what you have, with what you are. The search in your heart, in your head is still going on. Okay, because career-wise, not until you become the managing director, before you can be really content and fulfilled. So this searching for something like a rabbit, digging in the hole, the rabbit hole is go on forever. And before you know anything, you could be in the retirement age. And if you haven't reached all those, standards that you have aimed to achieve, you can end up spending your retirement time feeling regret, feeling, agony inside that you haven't achieved what you want to achieve. And then the pain is go on forever, and before you know anything, the illness might come to visit you, and death is on the doorstep. And then you leave this world without knowing anything. It's a long line of struggling all the time. Okay? So it's very important that you know that being lost is very important to know that not only the black forest, that your mental jungle is trapped. A lot of people who got everything in their life, material-wise, okay, they are lost in a jungle of blossom, of beautiful flowers. But through the Buddha's eyes, it's still a state of being lost. So I want to underline for you that I want to underline the danger of being lost in a forest of blossom, of beautiful flowers. Okay? Because you don't want to let go. You don't want to detach from them. You just want more and more and more. So bringing your mental self back home is not about bringing your mental self out from the agony, the terrifying black forest, but also bring you out from the positive, bright forest as well. I must try to build up the new terminology. Okay, the beautiful forest as well, to bring you safely home. Okay, so it is this positive, this bright and beautiful, mental forest that is difficult to highlight. It's difficult to locate. But this is what the world civilization is aimed at. Trying to make humankind trap further in the beautiful, pungent forest. To make you have good wealth, good health, wealth, status, education, all these things. But through the eyes of those who have wisdom, like the Buddha, who is the first teacher of the world, he tells us so differently. He tells us that no matter is the black forest or the bright forest, the bottom line is that your mental self is being lost all the same. So therefore, you must bring your mental self back home. Back home. And then he tells us what is the nature of your mental home, where your mental self can come back to. Which there are 4 homes that your mental self can return to, come back to safely. The first home is your breathing and the rhythm of the movements. The second home is the sensation, your bodily sensations. which these two homes, the phenomenon of these two homes, is the very familiar phenomenon that every single human being have them all the same. This is the justice of this practice, because no matter how rich or how poor your physical status is, your mental self have 4 homes to return to all the same. Physically, if you're rich, okay, you have more than one home. You're richer, you got bigger home, you live in mansion, you live in palace, you live in castle, all these things. Okay, but that is the physical world, which has no real justice. But mentally, on the mental level, no matter how rich or how poor you are, even though the beggar in Calcutta, the poor people in Africa, the mental self is of formless nature all the same. And the mental self have 4 homes to return to all the same. The first home is your breathing. The first home is your rhythm of the movement. And the second home is your sensations. Is your sensation. So your breathing, movements and sensation, every single human being have them all the same. But the trouble is, there are not many knowers in the world, not many guides in the world who can underline for you, tell you this piece of good news. This piece of good news tell you that your mental self have 4 homes to return to. So when you don't know this good news, this guided wisdom to begin with, you do not know how to bring your mental self back home. Even though you breathe and you have sensation and you are with your movement all the time, but you don't know how exactly to do it in the correct way, in the proper way. Okay, to make it as a skill that can make your life become happier. So I'd like you to know that what you are doing right now, use your mental eyes to know your breathing, know your movement, know your sensation. You are still doing exactly the same thing that you did before. I tell you all this. But we do it in a more structured way. We do it in a more, focused way. So, if you really want to strengthen Tom up or make your mental self become stronger, what you must do right now is do not drift along with your thoughts. If right now you got a lot of, work problems at home and you can't help thinking about it, you must be decisive, okay? Just let go of all those thoughts, all those problems, which I represent by just one word, Jerry. Okay? So round all your problems, all your troubled thoughts, troubled feelings into just Jerry. And then kick Jerry out of your house. Let them go. Don't drift along with Jerry. And then focus wholeheartedly on your breathing, on your sensations. So I'm going to let you move a bit now. The hand that you are touching your upper legs right now, please stroke or rub. Okay, stroke your knees and then come up to your upper leg and then stroke slowly, please. Do it slowly. Do it slowly. So your breath is the first home. Your movements, physical movement is the first home. Your bodily sensations is the second home. So we're going to extend the first, second home into one big home. So make a point to use your mental eye focus in all this inner scenery, mental scenery, which make up of your breathing, your sensations and your movements. Okay, so you are doing exactly the same thing but in a more structured way. Focus and don't drift along with Jerry. And by doing this, you are bringing your mental self out from your black forest and the bright forest back home. Back home. And home is a safe place. Home is a secure place where you know that no one can hurt you. You come home, lock the door, shut the door, lock the door, and don't let Jerry come into your house, into your mental home, so that Jerry cannot hurt you. So you must bring your mental self back home, to your breathing, to your sensations, to your movement, so that Jerry cannot come into your home and take you out into the mental jungle again. So by wholeheartedly focus. Right, the next one, I'd like you to squeeze your upper legs. Squeeze your upper leg. You sit for a long time now. Your leg tired. Okay, so we start some movement. Wherever there is ache and pain, you squeeze upper legs. And breathe deeply from time to time. And your mental eyes focus on your breathing, on your movement, squeezing, and on the sensation, the impact from being squeezed. So when you focus wholeheartedly like this, it is difficult for Jerry to come into your house and drag you out from home. Before this practice, your mental self have fallen into a bad habit, a bad mental habit. That bad mental habit is that you engage in drifting with your thoughts, which is equate to Jerry take you away from home and travel in your mental jungle, whether it's the dark forest or the bright forest. Okay? But that should be the past now. You should develop a positive mental skill. Train your mental self to remain home. Home with your breathing, home with your movements, home with your sensations. Right, fist your hand. Make your hand into fist, soft fist. And then thumb, go on, beat. Really hit onto your legs. See, the movement, second home. It doesn't matter what type of movement. All bodily movement is the first home. And the sensation, the impact from your breathing is the second home. And the breathing is there. So I'd like you to see that your mental scenery is changing all the time. Right? Maybe the breathing, which is equate to the mountain, doesn't change much. But the cloud and the sky, the cloud is the movements. The sky is the physical sensation. See, it changed. The scenery changed. So it doesn't matter what scenery it is. Your duty is to watch, to observe all the time. Which is the way to train your mental self to be home. And especially when you do a vigorous movement like this, okay, keep on banging into the part that you feel, aching, your leg. You will see that your mental self is firmly home. And it is difficult for Jerry to come and drag you out of your house now. Right, yeah, we stop for a bit and look at the changing scenery in your mental world. The scenery in your mental world right now is made up of your breathing. Okay, no movements involved, but the sensations, the changing of the sky color. See? The sensation change, right? So your duty is to watch and watch and carry on watching and watching, observing, looking, viewing all the time. And if Jerry came into your house, came into your mind, you have to resist. Tell Jerry that, look Jerry, I have been through your mental jungle for too long now. I have enough, I'm fed up now. I don't want to go into your jungle anymore. No matter it's the dark forest or the bright forest. I don't want to go. Today I have found my true self. And then I found out that my true self, my mental self, have 4 homes to return to. So I'm going to stay home now. You must be strong. Just be decisive. Cut short your thinking. You're drifting away with your thoughts. Cut short and come straight home. Home to your breathing, home to your movements, home to your sensations. Always. This is a way to make Tom from a weak Tom to be a stronger Tom, so that Jerry won't hit you. Okay, the next one, your right hand, massage the right hand to the left shoulder. Squeeze, 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 and then slap your right arm, slap all area. Your mental eye keep on watching the movement and the sensation. And then left hand to your right, and then slap, slap, slap. Stay home. And then sit down, sit still. Look at the changing scenery. Look at the changing mental scenery. Sensation is the sky, the second home. I can compare to the sky changing color, different type of sensations. How many times you've gone through the experience like this? That you see your physical sensation, see your breathing. But without this type of guidance, there is no way that you can know for yourself the importance of just focus on your breathing and focus on your sensations. So I'm trying to explain to you in the terminology, in the language that you can easily understand. And this is the scientific side of Buddhism. Science is mean that you have a phenomenon and then you got the observer who observe that particular phenomenon. Be scientific is to make this observation through your eyes, ears, nose, tongue and touch for a long period of time until you can understand that phenomenon, how it works, how it happens, how it lasts, how it disappears, all these things, until you can understand so that you can make a conclusion. Yeah. So in this mental level, ultimately, you want to understand how Jerry works, how Jerry, your thought, memories, and feelings work in your mind. So therefore, the Buddha gave us the right tool for the right job. The right tool is your mental eyes, so that there is a person to observe, make the observation of the nature, the phenomenon of Jerry. But to reach that state, you've got to locate the observer, which is your mental self, and locate your mental eyes and learn how to use this fundamental tool, which is your mental eyes. So today it's just the introduction. I have located the mental self and the mental eyes for you, and I teach you how to use your mental eye to look, observe all these breathing movement and sensation, which is the introductory stage, which will pave the way. When you are skillful, you can enter the third and the fourth home, which is a more advanced state. But initially, fundamentally, you got to learn how to use your mental eyes first. Okay? But you can use your mental eyes until you are become more skillful. You can use that tool to observe something that is more difficult to observe, which is your thought or Jerry. And you got to observe Jerry for a long period of time until you can understand the working, the functioning of Jerry. You will know, understand how Jerry works, how your thoughts, your memories, your feelings work. Why I feel like this, even though I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to think about all this rubbish thought. I don't want to think about all this painful thought, but why I cannot shake them off, why I cannot let go of them, why I cannot be content with myself, although I have everything. All this is in the area of the third foundation of mindfulness, of the third home, which you will progress to practice that part when your mental skill is good. So today is paving the foundation for you. Introduce your true self or your mental self to you first. Introduce your mental eyes, let you know how to use your mental eyes, and then begin to alter, to change your bad mental habit to the good mental habit. The bad mental habit is the way that your mental self constantly drift along with your thoughts. Okay, traveling in the area of the black forest and the bright, beautiful forest, back and forth. This is the bad mental habit. The good mental habit is to bring your mental self back home to your breathing, your sensation, your movements, and then learn to be home, to stay put, to be home and not leave home. So this is the stage that you have to develop. It's a stage that you have to cultivate by yourself after you have learned this skill. So as you are cultivate and develop this mental skill, your life will change, from the state of lack of stability, lack of harmony, lack of control, feeling insecure, lack of confidence, to be the state of feeling more secure, feeling more stable in your head, in your heart, feeling more harmony, or basically feeling happier, more at peace. So this is the positive, the good mental skill, the good mental habit that you got to change yourself first. And then from there, you can develop into, a more advanced state by learning the working, the functioning of Jerry, which will take a long period of time. You need at least a good 5 to 10 years, okay, to do that. But anyway, this practice for the Buddhists is a lifetime matter. It's a lifetime activity that you must do. Okay, and there is also the end of it, the end of the practice is to be able to reach the fourth form, the innocent perception. So I'm trying to tell you, to help you have a clear picture of what you're doing and how you develop and the end result of it. Okay, right, I'm going to ask you to use your hand and pat on your face, please, everyone. Pat, pat, pat on your face, beating your face basically. And then your head. Okay, your arms again. The other side of your arms. And then your leg. Right, and then sit still. I want you to not to fail to sleep, so I try to change your inner scenery, your mental scenery, so that your mental eyes can keep on looking and focusing, observing, viewing all this mental scenery. So this is all you have to do, bringing your mental self back home by use your mental eyes. Observe your breathing, your movements, your sensations. So by doing this, your mental eyes become sharper and sharper. If you can imagine that your mental eyes has been blindfolded for a long period of time. Okay, has been blindfolded for a long period of time. The moment that you take your blindfold out, of course, your sight is blurred. It's not clear, unclear. So you got to blink your eyes a few times, and takes time before your eyesight can be better, right? And you need your physical eyesight to look at the direction to go to your physical destination. You want to go back to Amsterdam, go back to Belgium today, of course you need your physical eyes to look for direction to go home. So is your mental journey. Your mental journey is made up of your mental self with your mental eyes, and you need a good mental eyesight to find your way home. Okay? So this morning, today, so far, it's only a matter of you taking your blindfold off your eyes. So of course your mental eyesight is blurred, is unclear right now. So this is the stage of trying to polish your mental eyesight to become clearer, make it become clearer and clearer. By using your mental eyes, know your breathing, know your sensations, know your movements. Okay, the last thing I'd like you to do, I'd like you to each finger, I'd like you to use the other hand. Pull the whole lot, pull them. Okay, it's just like the Thai massage. There is one movement that they do, that the whole area of the fingers, they pull. 10 fingers do it. And your mental eyes focus, do it back and forth. 20 times in total. And then afterward, squeeze your fingernails. Slowly, each finger squeeze. And your mental eye is watching the movement and the sensations 20 times in total. So each finger have 2 squeezes. When you finish, just bend your fingernails like the Thai people like to do. Watch your movement and sensations. Okay, and then sit still. Watch the changing scenery. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply and then watch your breath and the sensations. And before you open your eyes, I'm going to let you look at the result, the impact of your practice. Now that you have brought your mental self back home, your mental eyes have wholeheartedly focused on your breathing, your movements and your sensations. Now we see the impact, we see the result of it. So let your mental eye look straight into your mental space. Okay? I'd like you to notice that, can you see that Jerry has become less in your head and in your heart? There are not many mental movements. Mental movement as there are not many Jerry basically. And that you begin to see the stillness of your mind. You begin to see your mental harmony, your mental stillness, your mental stability, your mental security. It doesn't matter what word that we use. I'd like to know the actual experience. And as the experience, I like to use the term, you see more of your mental space. Jerry will move along your mental space. Jerry will come into your mental space. But because you have moved, you have brought your mental self back home, which is the same nature as kicking Jerry out of your house. So when you kick Jerry out of your house, reduce the population of Jerry. In your mental home, become still, become void of Jerry. Become still, become harmony. Or basically, you're feeling happier, you're feeling more at peace. So no matter what I describe with words, I like your mental eye to be able to see the actual experience of your mental home that is quiet, still, at peace, or happier. Okay? I like you to be able to identify it as the actual experience. Because this is the very scientific practice. But it's the science that based on the formless nature of your mind. So when your mind have less Jerry, less thought, and you see that you're feeling better, you're feeling more in control of your life, you're feeling more at peace, you're feeling quiet inside, more still, and feeling happier. And this is the impact, the consequence, the result of your bringing your mental self back home. So you put in the course, you have the result. And because this is a mental journey, a mind journey, if you do it in the correct way, as I have guided you, you can reach the destination quite quickly. So this morning we have moved from location B, when we have stress, worry, anxiety, turmoil, by bringing a mental self back home. So now you have reached destination B, location B, when you're feeling happier. Okay? So mission accomplished. You have engaged in the means, you have reaped the result. Right. Breathe deeply again and then slowly open your eyes, please. Okay. Right. Is it clear? Does it become clearer to you? How are you feeling? Are you feeling better? Less jerry in here. Right. Less jerry in here. It's very simple, really. About you, sorry, I forgot your name, but is it clear? You know why you do it. So, you understand นะ โอเคนะคะตอนแรกไม่ว่าแต่หลังๆมาใช่ตอนแรกถูกนั่นแหละ Okay, so I found a new terminology as you teach along, you know. So let's say this is a black forest. Okay, your mental self swing into the black forest or swinging into a bright forest. Okay, no matter it's a black forest or a bright, beautiful forest, the fact is that there are still forests that your mental self being trapped. It's not normal. This is normality. This is not normal. This is not normal. So we are trying to bring ourselves back to the normality. Okay? So that's why there is a book called Do You Know What a Normal Mind Is? Okay? Do you know what a normal mind is? Because a lot of people, when you're here, they thought that they're normal, but in fact, through the Buddha's eye, this is not normal. Okay? So how can you make your mind return home to a normal mind? Bring your mental self back home. Full stop. And this is the core of Buddhism. And the rest, when your wife takes you to temple, to offer food to the monk, to do this and that, that is only the cover, the shell, of the, what is the bark, isn't it? The bark of the tree is not the core. It's not the core of Buddhism, but we need the bark to preserve, to look after the core. But the core is only a tiny bit, but the bark is a big area. Okay? So I just try to make things clearer to you, so that when you go to temple next time, you know what you get involved with, which is the bark, which is the core, which is the practice of this thing. And the only part of science of Buddhism is vipassana. Vipassana is the four foundation of mindfulness, of bringing your mental self back. Okay. Right, I'm sure you're hungry now. Oh my goodness me, 20 to 2. 20 to 2. So, according to Louis, the course finished at 3:30. By the time you finish eating, it's 3:30. I normally finish my course at 5. You can see that it's a lot involved, and then, the practice, because without the practice, we can't, So after the meal, I normally will help you with the Tai Chi practice, doing the 18 movements of Tai Chi Qigong, so that you don't fail to sleep. And if you are really tired, I will lie you all down and let you have a little sleep, when you can still bring your mental self back home too. So this is your afternoon plan, but let's eat first and then talk about it. Okay, I'd say it like this. If you want to stay on, but if you've got something to do, if you can alter your plan, so make a phone call, alter your plan. If you can't do it, it's okay, go home. And then I don't think that this is the first time and the last time. There will be another time. So you can come back again and then look at the video as well. Okay? But just don't bring Jerry into trouble yourself, okay? No matter what you decide, if you want to go home, it's okay, go. And we're happy to go, you know? Don't let Jerry trouble you. And do it again next time. But if you can alter your plan, stay a bit longer, finish at 5, you know, you can learn a bit more, practice a bit more. That's all I can say. I think this question I might aim at the Farang, the Dutch husband. I know that the law of karma or the cycle of rebirth is a kind of far-fetched concept to you, isn't it? Do you believe in the rebirth? Yeah, I have to go one. Do you believe it? You don't think it's a crazy idea, do you?
No.
No, okay. How about you?
There are lots of things we don't know.
Yeah, okay. So you open your mind to all kind of possibility.
Yes.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. And then you still have a bit of reservation. You're also open to all kind of possibility. Yeah? The same, I suppose. Do you believe?
I believe.
Oh, you do believe?
Yeah.
You have made up your mind that
Yeah.
there is a rebirth. How about you, Dietrich? Oh, sorry, Erin. The host.
No, I do believe.
You do believe?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. You got no objection. And you, Dietrich? You don't know. Yeah. But you open your mind to. Yeah. You open your mind to all kind of possibility. Okay. I just want you to know that the part that is science in Buddhism is only one thing, which is vipassana. Okay? But the rest, you have to believe. Because there is no way to for you to prove that is true or not. The only way to prove is for you to die and then to see whether heaven and hell is there or not. You know, but not many people can come back. No, I never see anyone come back to say that, yeah, there are hell, there are heaven, or that kind of thing. But even though they come back to tell you, you still have to believe, right? You still have to believe. Whereas vipassana is science in the sense that you have the observer. You have the observer, which is your mental self with the mental eyes, and observe Jerry. Okay? When you come to the third foundation of mindfulness, you want to use your mental eye to observe Jerry. When Jerry come into your heart, Jerry come and beat you, attack you, you know, make you feel awful or whatever, and then Jerry disappear into thin air like this. This is a matter of the third foundation of mindfulness, which is pure science. Pure science in the sense that you have the observer and the observed. Okay, the observer and the observed. So therefore, the word vipassana or insight, vipassana, it comes from V is being round, all round. Okay? Pasama is viewing. Is viewing. Okay? So this one in the normal term they call insight meditation. Inside meditation, and look at the inside roundly. Okay, look at viewing the inside, the scenery inside your inner world all round. So far I try to introduce the inner scenery to you as the breathing, as the rhythm of the movement, as the sensations. These are your inner scenery, your inner sight that your mental eyes can view, which is a very scientific meaning of vipassana. Because when you say vipassana, it sounds very religious, isn't it? But the meaning, in fact, it got the very scientific sense into it. And especially come to the third foundation of mindfulness. The first foundation, or the first home, you build the breathing and the movement. The second foundation, you build the sensation. The third foundation, you build your thoughts. You build your thought. And it is this part that will help you to understand life to the core. Because you will begin to see the elusive side of Jerry. Okay? So this part, you need to have this to build this. This is the subject to build this. So if you cannot highlight, if you cannot underline the practice, make it clearly like this, it's very unlikely that you will understand Buddhism to the core. Because wisdom won't occur. Because when you come to the third foundation, when you begin to see Jerry and the functioning of Jerry, you will see this nature of mind, which is different from this mental space. Okay? When you see a lot of this, you make a long term of observation. You begin to see this, and then another type of thought will enter your mind, which they call wisdom. Wisdom is another nature of Jerry that come into your life and help you to understand life to the core. When you understand, when this type of Jerry come in, only then will you understand what I'm going to explain to you. Okay? What I'm going to explain to you. Right. And because the Buddha have been through the enlightenment, so therefore he had the wisdom to understand life to the core. What happened to the enlightenment of the Buddha on that night? On that night, the Buddha was the first human being who walked out of the prison of life. This prison of life, it doesn't make up of brick wall, okay, as in the human world. But this prison of life is the cycle of rebirth. So the cycle of rebirth is very much like a ring road. A ring road which is go round and round. Okay, a ring road is the road that is the longest road in the world, really, because it can go round and round. And along this ring road of samsara or rebirth, there is different stop, different bus stop. And human world is one stop. Is one stop. Okay? Along the ring road of samsara. Samsara means rebirth, the ring road of rebirth. Yeah, let me put it in another way if I can find this picture. See your eye, your physical eyes, your naked eye can only manage to see certain things, right? Your physical eyes cannot. You have to go, right? Okay, maybe my girl was sick. Yeah, good luck. I see you another time. Right. Right, your physical eyes like this can manage to see things in the normal range that you can manage. But if you want to see further, you need help. You need tools, right? To help you to see a bit further away, as far as the universe, the sky, all these things. And then to help you to see the thing that is really small, nature, as all the germ, all these things. You need a tool to extend your eyesight. Okay? So is your mental eyes. Your mental eye need to extend the eyesight to help you to see further away. Okay? And the Buddha gave us a tool that you can extend your mental eyesight. But without the mental eyesight, you can only see yourself, your problem, okay, your loved one problems. And then you always think that, oh, this is mine, this is yours, this is my pain, my problem, all these things. You tend to focus on only the thing that you can see. I talk about your mental eye can see. But if you can see a bit further, you see, if you can see a bit further, what that you call self, this is mine, this is there, is begin to have less significance. If you can see further that, oh, in fact, other people, society is made up of so many people, and they're all problem. Here's you are. Okay, you begin to see more people, and everyone, they all got problem, all the same. So your problem is seen a bit less. But if you kind of see a bit further, with the better tool, you can see a bit further on this scale. And let's go a bit further in this scale. Your problems seem to be less now, much less, because the world is just so big, so massive. And if you, where are you now? You're right here. Okay? If the astronaut or the alien look at you, they don't just see you, they see the whole world. And the whole world is made up of 6.6 billion, isn't it? Billion people. Yeah. And everyone, they all got problems. So your problem, where are you and where is your problem? It's become much lesser. Okay? And if you got the extended tool to see even further, the world is only, this is the solar system. Okay? Before that you can see, myself, my problem, my this and my that. You cannot see them anymore on this scale. Right? On this scale. You become so tiny, so minute. And if on the galaxy level, see, you can even see our own world. And where is your problem now? Okay? So the Buddha keep on delve into the minute, the biggest scale of a human life form, and see that, oh gosh, it's not only this, and all this only this galaxy alone, this Milky Way galaxy alone, we might have, more of the planet, more people in there who are all suffering. And then when you get to this is our solar system is here in the Milky Way galaxy. But in the whole universe, where is our galaxy? These are all the galaxies, see? And all these galaxies might have more people in there. You see? More people in there. Scientifically, we can see as far as the universe. But the Buddha, he was well equipped with the extended tool that allowed him to see another scale further than this. Another scale further than the universe, which is the prison of life. Okay? Scientifically, this is the furthest that we can see, the universe. But the Buddha, who is well equipped with wisdom, he could see that, the universe that a life form, a human life form is in fact, is only one small section of a gigantic prison of life. A gigantic prison of life, which a human life form is only one little corner, which there are still, a lot more. This realm, the human life form, we share the place, the world with the animal life form. But in fact, in different realms, but we can see them. Okay, and then the lower realm, you've got the hell, what they call hell, and then above you got heaven. Okay, but there's still more details. It's not just hell, and heaven is not just heaven. There's still more details. Anyway, all these things, there are the different corner of the gigantic prison that dotted around the ring road of rebirth. What happened to the Buddha on the night of his enlightenment is that on that night he walked out from this prison of life and experienced the freedom for the first time. So therefore he exclaimed to himself, Eureka, I know it. Know what? Know that before that, only a few hours before my enlightenment, I was a prisoner in this gigantic prison of life. But now I have a taste of real freedom. I have a taste of real freedom. This is what I equated to the pond of holy water this morning. Okay, that when you taste this holy water, he knew that this is the ultimate purpose of human's life. Everyone must have this taste of water, or everyone must have this taste of freedom. And this freedom, we don't talk about the physical freedom. Okay, The physical freedom, you're already free. You're living in a very highly democratic country. But only mentally you know that you are not that free as such. If you're honest with yourself, you know that you are not free as such. You still be conditioned with this and that, with this, that, and give you the turmoil. Okay? So this thing, the Buddha talked about our ultimate mental freedom, which he was the first person who could see the two different stages of life. One is being imprisoned with all kind of emotion, thought, memories, emotion that cause the turmoil in your mind. And then suddenly, upon his enlightenment, he saw the stillness of his mind. Okay? Which he knows simultaneously that is better than this nature. Okay? He got the comparison. So therefore, he entered back into the world and said that, now I know. I know how to help people to be free. How exactly you can help yourself to be free is that you got to practice one thing only, that is the full foundation of mindfulness, vipassana or insight meditation, or bringing your mental self back home. When you do this, okay, you will have a taste of the real freedom. And this real freedom, in my way of teaching, I like you to have the taste of the real experience. Not just word. So this actual experience, that which every single human being can have access to it. Okay, can have access to it. If only you have the clear means to the end. And that clear means to the end is the full foundation of mindfulness, or to bring your mental self back home. So provided that you can do the means correctly, you can have a taste of this mental freedom, okay, which I call, just with the simple word, happier, making yourself happier. So this experience of feeling happier, feeling at peace, if I have more time to explain to you, I will lead you to all these big words, the ultimate freedom, God, the tree of life, Nirvana, Tao, or my coinage, my invention is the innocent perception, which is very much possible for you to achieve. Okay, and I think it's in this book, we just start to like the moral diet. I have put down 24 terminology to represent this nature. So by words, by language, you can call this nature whatever that you want to call, but please do not fight over language or words, which is the very thing that is happening to the religious world. Okay, we are fighting over the conception, if not the different invention of words. It doesn't matter what you want to call. The actual experience refer to point to only one thing: the true liberation of your mind, which you yourself, through the practice, you got to know what exactly that experience is. So if I have more times, to spend with you, I'm going to try to highlight for you that actual experience. So to come through my course is no point if you don't follow the practice with me, because you will only just pick up the words. And when you pick up the words and language, the explanation, you will always have question, have a problem in there. So that is not my way of teaching. So my way of teaching is I would rather you to sit and then engage in the practice with me, so that we can have a taste of the experience together, which in fact, from this morning that you have done, you already have a taste of it already. The nature that I call the stillness of the mind, the quiet, the quietness of your mind, all this, that is all the one little taste of this, eternal freedom. Okay, so this is regarding the cycle of rebirth or the ring road of samsara, like this, is something that you got to believe. Because if you don't believe in this, and you think that, okay, let me die and then I find out. But if you die, you find out, you might end up, in somewhere like this, or in the animal world, and it's a bit too late. So this is the part that you got to try to make yourself to understand before you die. before you die. So in that book, the moral diet and the law of karma, I did talk about, some people experience like the tsunami. The tsunami, after the tsunami, a lot of people have talked about all the different experience about, even in the English newspaper, we talk about the tsunami ghost, all these things, and then there is some people that have to release the tsunami ghost, all these things. Okay, you can only believe, it's entirely up to you that you want to believe or not believe, okay? But my point is that if you wait until you become one of those tsunami ghosts yourself and live in limbo land, limbo land, it might be a bit late. So it's better that you make yourself understand all this concept first, which is all in the law of karma. So basically what you have to do is, there are three types of action. Let's say this is the dark, this is the light, okay? This dark action, dark action produced from dark thought first. Dark thought, dark speech. Negative thought, negative speech, all these things. And produce the negative action. The negative action, which is, mostly based on greed and anger, all these things, will take you to this realm. One of these realm. This is they call the hungry ghost world. This is the hell, and that is the animal world. Animal world, the karma that leads you to is the ignorance, the lack of interest in the knowledge, in the right knowledge, basically, about the goal of life, what we are why we are thrown into this world for, all this struggling, what are they for, all these things, okay? And this can even happen to the intellectual people too, okay? So this greed, anger, and ignorance, okay, will lead you to the lower realm, whereas the upper realm, which is the human world, the heaven world, and the Brahma world, it comes from you do the positive karma, you do the giving, you follow the moral precept, okay, or the good thing you do it, bad thing you don't do it, and then you also do the giving and lead a very simple life, and then it's in the moral diet, okay, all those conditions. If you can do it, it will lead you to the upper realm. But no matter you live in the, okay, let's suppose this as a prison. In prison, you got two wings. You got the right wing and you got the left wing. Okay, if you are sent to the right wing, it means that your life is got to be miserable, because they don't let you sleep on the bed. They let you sleep on the floor with the cockroaches, with the jinjok, and then give you the very little food, no on toilet, all these things, no visitation. But if you move to the right wing, left wing, right wing, okay, you have a room full of luxury, you got bed, you got good food, you may have television, you may have fridge, you may have a car to drive as well. But it doesn't matter if you live in the east wing or the west wing. The bottom line is that you are trapped in the prison of life. Okay? You are still being trapped in the prison of life. So you need another action that can help you escape from this prison of life, and this is called the non-action. Non-action means only one thing, which is vipassana, the full foundation of mindfulness, or bring your mental self back home. So from this one, okay, so if we're going to explain through this, your mental pendulum, your mind, swinging to both sides, okay? If you have a lot of this in you, okay, and which make you produce a lot of action, negative action, okay, the negative action will take you to this realm, whereas this one, you do a lot of good thing, positive thing, present thing, it can take you to this realm, okay. But if your mind is still, or you do the non-action, you do the third type of action, which is the non-action, which is vipassana, it will bring you to have a taste of the mental freedom. So basically, the core practice of Buddhism is only this. Okay, but this part, you got no choice but to believe. Okay? Because if you don't believe in this, there is no need for you to do this at all. No need for you to do meditation or vipassana at all. Because why you want to do it for? Just to go to heaven? No. The Buddha he didn't teach you to be satisfied with just going to heaven. He teaches you to make yourself be free, totally free from the bondage of samsara. Okay? But, so I'm going to leave this for you to think, which is entirely up to you. Entirely up to you. If you don't want to consider this part at all, you can forget totally about it. Okay? And then just focus on the swinging of your mind. Just focus on the swinging of your mind. Okay? You don't want to be trapped in the black forest or the bright forest. You want to bring your mental self back home. You can only just focus on this part. And that's it, all entirely up to you. Is that clear? Is that clear? Alright, okay. So if you're clear, we are going, have you got any question? No. Is it there? Yeah. But the trouble is that non-action is a part of action that not many people talk about it. The traditional way of practice in a lot of temple, we focus on doing the meditation that can help you to go to heaven. I would say that 99.5% of the Buddhist time still think that the purpose of life is to do good and go to heaven. That's all. And go to heaven. Okay? And when we mention the word nirvana, we need to go to nirvana. A lot of people just want to, fall off the sea. They said that, oh no, you can't talk about nirvana. This is nothing to do with you. You're a lay person, you're a woman. You're a woman, you can't go to nirvana. And that is all misconception. I met a lady in Bonn, near between Koblenz and Bonn. She got everything in life. She owned a very, beautiful restaurant, Thai restaurant, a very good husband. No children, but everything material-wise, she got it. But for some reason, she's still very unhappy inside. She said that, I don't know why. I still feel that something lack in my life, in my mind. There is a big hole in there, but I don't know what. And then one day, she answered to herself that she know that what she wants is to go to Nirvana, like the Buddha, have told all the Buddhists. Because we've been learning from, young age, said that Nirvana is the best thing in life. So she talked to herself, she said that maybe Nirvana is what I wanted. But she didn't know how to, come about to go to Nirvana. So she went to ask a monk, an abbot, with a very direct question that how exactly can I go to Nirvana? And the abbot said that, okay, you go to make a wish to be born again as a man for 7 lifetimes first, and then we talk about going to Nirvana. And that make her feel so miserable and delve her into a depression for months. For a few months, she just make her so unhappy. Because the answer from the abbot, it means that being a woman, being a housewife, it means that you are not entitled to go to Nirvana anymore. And make her feel so unhappy, until she came to find my book and find out that Nirvana is for everyone, and even women can still have access to Nirvana. That gave her the hope. But the example like this is the very thing that happened to the Buddhist society in Thailand, isn't it? in Thailand. I mean, I was also one of them. I thought that Nirvana got nothing, absolutely nothing to do with me. Although in my mind I was, in agony like this all the time. The process, the product of the student uprising in 1973. That a lot of students were killed. 73, another time is 76, 77, that kind. Okay, and lots of students were killed. And then I was forced into a really terrible mental agony, to see the political upheaval like that. But although I didn't know that Nirvana, it means just simply making your life happier and more at peace, I just know that I don't want this lump of pain. I just want to be at peace like that. And that was the beginning of my search. Until I found something so valuable. Okay, reach a point that I can, share this with you. But still, at the moment, the majority of Thai Buddhists still think that we should do good. We should do all the good things so that we can go to heaven. That's all. Which is not the teaching of the Buddha. You cannot be satisfied to be, in the right wing of the prison. So the purpose of everyone's life, you must free yourself. And also with this concept, you will understand yourself that, like this lady that I told you, material-wise, you got everything. You shouldn't have anything to be worried at all. And even though right now you think that you are not troubled, you don't have turmoil, you don't have suffering, but it's only a matter of time. Because you don't know what is around the corner, because everything is changing all the time. If the economy crash one day, okay, if the birds flu or any kind of disease, spreading the whole world. When the birds flu was spreading, I heard the person from the World Health Organization came out and said that if this pandemic really affect the world, 1/3 of the world population will be all dead from the disease. Another 1/3 of the population will be too scared to leave the house for fear that they will catch the flu. And leave only another 1/3 of the world population walking around on street, and by then everything collapse. All the money that you think that it got so much value will lose the value right away. Okay, and then everyone will just go back to basic and fend for yourself instinctively. And you got to imagine that this kind of thing is not impossible. It's not impossible. In fact, Hollywood trying to tell us, Will Smith, what is that film for? Will Smith.
Breakout Fears or something.
Yeah. Will Smith, what is it called, that film? That not long. He was, what is it?
I Am Legend.
I'm Legend.
Oh yeah, material book.
I'm Legend, or 20 days after all these things, It's okay, although it's Hollywood, but all these writers sometimes they're trying to delve into, some of the problem that is not impossible. It's not impossible. And the fact is that we will never know what is around the corner. Like on the 24th of December 2004,
Tsunami.
exactly, before that morning we all get up, it's just another day, another glorious day, blue sky, all these things. But boom, within minutes like that, how many 100,000? How many? 200,000 people 200,000 people, just wiped away. And 1/3 of them were children. A situation like this, you cannot say that, it's not going to happen to me. If you say that, you are very complacent. You're very complacent. So anyway, this practice is nothing but try to make you well equipped with a skill that no matter what kind of eventuality, facing you, you will have the strength to stand up and face the music. Even death. This practice is not about trying to extend your life. Oh, let me live a bit, you know, a few more years, a few more hours. Don't let me die yet. No. This is not your first death and not your last death. This is, your physical death is a false kind of death. You see? But this practice is try to make you have the good control, have in control, you know, over your life, even though you are meeting the eventuality as such as death, so that you can be strong. You have the inner strength in there to go through everything accordingly, with the hope that eventually you can leave this prison of life. That's all there is to it. Okay, so it's not the practice that try to, oh, you know, leave me a little bit longer, this thing, nothing like that at all. So, explaining like this, I hope you have clearer picture about your life, okay? So, in the end, it's all come down to the practice again, to the practice that how can you, you know, cultivate this practice, make your mental self become stronger and stronger. Okay, right. So, shall we do further practice?
Walk there, we can walk off.
You want to go outside and do the Tai Chi?
Yeah. No, or just inside. Is there any people in the back playing? Is Dan outside? Yeah.